Hey guys, okay, so this is the divine masculine, and I got a question in my comments just so you know the divine masculine, divine feminine. This is just talking about energy, not gender. You can be a divine masculine and still be a woman. You can be a divine feminine and still be a man, and those energies can switch with you. Or sometimes you may feel like the divine masculine because you're going through those things, or sometimes you may be just walking in a more masculine energy. So for me, what I've encountered for myself, I don't know about everybody else, that energies do switch up, but most of the time, you are mostly more one than the other. Either you're more feminine or you're more masculine, but take it how everything resonates. So, oh, and like, share, and subscribe. Got that in this time. All right. So when I was reading the masculine, still kind of continuing from that first reading that kind of got interrupted, I saw the sacral chakra come out, and I saw joy would be the thing to heal that chakra would be joy, and seeing and knowing. And then what else came out was what do they need to see and what do they need to know is the kindness of a divine feminine, because their sixth chakra, which is the third eye, is blocked by a feminine distortion. um Instead of a feminine energy around them that was of optimal health and well-being, it was the opposite. It was a lot of dysfunction, and it wasn't healthy. So that's what's really blocking that third eye from them being able to see a kindness in a divine feminine. So some of the advice for the divine feminine here is to show kindness. That's what's going to awaken the divine masculine. It's going to be the kindness of a divine feminine, because that's where the distortion is coming in. Now, when I was kind of doing a meditation, I didn't expect this to come in, but what I saw was like a baby, and then I saw like a penis. And to me, what that signified was also, because I was kind of trying to ask or figure out what is really the dysfunction. And what I saw is there could be some sexual abuse, it could be some molestation in the divine masculine's energy, um, or it could just be like a dominating type of female. That could be what that is too, just like a dominating type of female that was around them, that dominated them or made them feel less than a man, or maybe they felt like they had to prove their masculinity or something like that, or just prove who they were, and that is a distortion. So to awaken the masculine to who he is, to go all the way back to the Akashic records and his conscious evolution, is going to be the release of fear. So what he did get was raven magic. So ravens, and that's the magic that's going to help clear. So I'm sorry, my sinuses for some reason are messing up. But so in my last reading, I saw this dark energy, this dark snake-like energy, and I was asking, what can we do to release some of that? As the feminine energy, one of the things we can do to help to release that from the masculine is to help him release his fear. Now, the raven is wisdom, is healing, intuition. So those are things that he needs. He needs protection. The inner child needs to know that it's safe to be able to transform and go through the things that it needs to go through. So another thing that came out with joy was a love frequency. Self-love and the love of a soulmate is also going to heal the masculine. So the masculine right now is, there's past issues. I see all these sixes, and sixes, they're past issues. Sixes is a number of the past. It's also a number of movements. So it's like moving back to the past in your mind and in those memories. It's also a mirror number. So it's a mirror of the past. It's also the mirror of the shadow. So what we're also seeing come out is the shadow side. Thank you. Wow. Okay. Got that. It's the shadow side of a feminine energy that is causing the breakage and the breakdown and the cluttering and the soul clutter and the blocking of the third eye as well. So my last reading, what I did see was a lot of communication. So communication may come in where you may want to have a conversation, or the divine masculine may want to have a conversation with a feminine energy, not meaning his divine feminine. It could just be a feminine energy where he's talking about what's going on and how he's feeling about some of the things of his past that he's gone through with feminine type of energies. Um, so what's going to heal the sacral here? I'm sorry, what's going to heal the solar plex? And I think in my last video, I think it's the solar plexus. They either are healing the third eye or the heart chakra. I think the solar plexus are healing the root chakra. And if I'm not mistaken, it's the solar plexus that are healing, that are going to help to heal the root chakra. And how that's going to happen is, and that's, that's the root chakra. That's the root chakra, but also the crown chakra. So it's knowing. The all-knowing is the crown, but the all-knowing has to come to the root. And what they need to know, the joy that they need to know is the kindness of a divine feminine, and also self-love, personal power. So we have the ninth house showing itself. And in the ninth house, we're talking about learning academically, going on quests and journeys to learn about who you are and what you want to do. And they really need the personal power to do that. They need the inner strength. Wow. Okay. So the journey that the masculine is going to go on is the journey of the wounded warrior, the Chiron energy. In order to do this, they're going to need the inner strength, because what they're going to realize is that their healing power comes from empathy and the ability to learn how to teach and to love others. So we're dealing with masculines that really aren't completely... So we have some masculines that confuse empathy with victimology. And so they get into a victimology type of mind frame. And that's what they communicate, is that victimology. So what they're learning is how to... Because it's their ego that's going to crush what's trying to happen here. It's their ego that's going to mess with what's really trying to happen here. And it's one thing is because they don't understand that they're in victimology kind of energy, and that they're really searching for inner strength. So it's going to be an inner strength that also needs to come through for the solar plexus to help to... So in the solar plexus, we have the Chiron energy. We have the wounded warrior energy in the solar plexus. And so it's going to take an inner strength, and not just an inner strength, but an inner strength and forgiveness. Well, I just kind of got lightheaded. And that's also the heart coming out. In the energy of Pisces. So we have in the solar plexus the energy of Chiron. But then in the heart, we have the energy of Pisces. And the energy of Pisces is loving, compassionate, and forgiving. So we got forgiving twice. So forgiveness is going to heal the heart chakra. So what are we forgiving? Let's get some clarification. Let's get some clarification here on the forgiveness. What are we forgiving? Now, what I do see that needs to be forgiven, of course, is some of the childhood abuse that are in the root chakra. So I see that it's not just sexual abuse. It's feeling like they couldn't hold up to... It was a lot of verbal abuse, like being called punks and pussies and shit like that. It was a lot of verbal abuse, actually. But kind of being picked on. Maybe we have some masculines that were picked on, that were not tough enough. So we may have some overcompensation happening. And so we could be getting those energies as well. So they're being called to take a leap. They're almost addicted to the idea. They're trying to shut it off though, and it's becoming sort of a dysfunctional visualization. I did see that where it looks like the visualization are being blocked by that third eye distortion. Yeah, it's by that third eye distortion. It's making it so they can't see the vision. So, okay. So what's going to clear it? The break. Ooh, I just saw that. I swear I just saw that. What's going to clear this is the breaking of cycles. And I think I said that in the last reading too, is it's the karmic cycles that have to be broken here. So there are karmic cycles that have to be broken. So let's look deeper at these karmic cycles. We have the cycle of looking back. What are we looking at? Looking back at everything that we've lost. Okay, we have a cycle and a pattern of circular thinking that's infecting the divine masculine. It's almost like they just had this idea of how things were supposed to be, how family was supposed to be, how kids were supposed to be, how love was supposed to be. And all that shit just turned in on itself. And it's just not what it was supposed to be. Like, why is shit so fucked up is what I keep hearing. And what they're saying is, I have tried, but they went to a darker energy. What I hear them say is, I have tried. What I'm seeing them say is, I have tried. I have put my energy and my magic. I've tried to manipulate my way into getting what I want. I'm frustrated and I'm tired. And I'm not understanding why everything that I've built isn't working out the way that it's supposed to. And they're kind of turning into... Some of them are very bitter right now. Some of them are kind of angry right now. Wow, because they have reflection. So right now, a lot of them are reflecting upon their life experiences with the 4 and the 5 and the 9. That's 9. 9 is also a reflection number, but it's a reflection of the higher self, not the shadow self, like the 6. And 9 goes forward, where 6 goes backwards. So 9 is also a travel number. So with 9, we're traveling more to the future, and we're trying to see things from a higher perspective. So they're in reflection about why their life has not turned out the way that they want it to. Why is it, the way that it is? And with forgiveness here, I see thinking. I see, it says rebirth here. They're reflecting because in the last reading, there's the end of a cycle. This reading, we have rebirth, which is the beginning of a cycle. And we have the number 7, which we know that is a spiritual number. So transparency. So last reading we got a lot of moons, and that's what I was asking is what is always up with all that moon energy? Because for this to work, for healing to take place, transparency is in order. I just call it 1444. So fours are foundational numbers, and fours are numbers. Four is a foundational number, but four is a building block number. It's a number that can be taken apart and can be used in any way that you want to. So it's a building block number. So they are creating new building blocks basically for the future. And we have 4 and 3 is 7, and 7 is, that's basically 77. So we do have some spiritual, we got joy coming up again. So and divine masculine, true pair on the board. We got divine masculine, divine feminine. Okay, so with the divine masculine coming out, what he's saying is he needs joy. He needs joy. He needs joy. And he's trying to get it from many different places. Where's he trying to get it from? That could be addiction. But I see he's trying to get it from many, many different places. We may have a divine masculine that's actually traveling different places. You may have one that's indulging with different parties, definitely giving their energy where they need to be. It's kind of giving their energy to some rest. But so we have some that are throwing their energies into other women right now. But it's all because they're trying to fill the solar plexus, and that makes sense. So here's the thing. If we addictions take place in the solar plexus, because the solar plexus is where we are calling out for pleasure, joy in life. And if we don't get that, we'll get it any way we can. And so those energies float up from the bottom up. So they come like, okay, say the sacral chakra is low vibrational. The sacral chakra is going to decide what is pleasurable for us, for the self, because that's where the seat of self really is. Well, that's where I say the seat of self is kind of the sacral. So that's where we're going to start deciding what those things are that make us feel good. And then when we get to the solar plexus, those things that make us feel good now become addictions. So what we have with the masculine is we have a masculine that's kind of putting his energy into his addictions, whether that's sexual addictions. I do see like women, it's women, and it may not be an addiction, but it's attracting him because he's trying to pull a good energy from a feminine source, from a female source, from a female energy, from a feminine energy, I should say, because his feminine energy inside of him is distorted because of the conditioning he's had from the feminine energy that's been around him has also been distorted. So he may actually be seeking out feminine energy that gives him shadow past type of joy and pleasure, which is dysfunctional for him, or for that energy. He's locked in his mind a lot. He's tied in his mind a lot. This masculine prays a lot. He prays for things to go in his favor. He's within himself a lot. And he's kind of turned his back on love, and he doesn't see a new beginning for love inside of himself. He's just trying to have some fun. He's trying to have some fun. But behind that fun, it's going to cost him. It's going to cost him. And it's going to bring some endings to some things. But it may actually put... Yeah. It's going to cause the ending to some things. Damn. And it's going to cause a huge tower moment. But it's going to give him a new thought. And it's going to give him a new way to build his world. It's going to give him some new options. Some new things to run after. If only he can get out of his head, he could do so much more. but he's got to get out of his head. And he's got to get out of his head, really. So one thing he's in his head about is how he has mistreated a divine feminine. And he's thinking about her, and he's kind of like, can I choose her again? I don't know. I was manipulative. I stole from her. I don't know if I can. I don't know if I can go back there. Is what I'm saying. Yeah, and he's thinking about it, but he's almost ready to let go because he's tired of this feeling of this divine masculine is watching too. And he's ready to take a leap, but because he's out in the cold right now. He's out in the cold right now. But he's out in the cold, but he doesn't really know it. So he just knows that he's just trying to fill things up. He's just trying to fill himself up. But he doesn't really understand that there's a void. He just knows he's trying to fill something up. There's a consciousness trying to come to him. It's trying to break through, is what I'm hearing. And it's going to empty him out. He's going to feel empty. He's going to feel drained. He's going to feel hurt. He's going to feel pain he's never felt before. He's going to feel a death. He's going to feel a death. And that's what I saw. It's going to cause a big tower moment, this death that he's going to feel. He wants to ride towards hope, even though he can't see it. He's hoping what he has is enough to offer. But he thinks... So we have a divine masculine that's kind of in his mind about his connection with his divine feminine. It looks like he really wants to ride towards her, but he doesn't know. He's hoping he has enough to break from her back. I'm sorry. He's hoping he has enough to break from her back to him, but he knows that his feminine is psychic, looks like, and that she can read underneath the moon. She can see underneath what's happening, and so he doesn't know. He doesn't think that he can offer her anything to really wow. So the divine feminine in this really grieved this a lot. When she thinks about the relationship, she thinks about grief, and she thinks about the pain of it. She thinks about having to leave things behind and go to new horizons. Sometimes she feels like she missed an opportunity. That's in the back of her mind. That sometimes she does feel like maybe he offered something that she missed because she was too busy looking at his behavior and his lying and using her intuition instead of maybe just listening to spirit with this. So we have the divine feminine coming in now and saying, hey, this is how I'm feeling right now. I wanted to get pregnant. I wanted to birth life here. I wanted to have a life with this. That's what's in the foremost vision of her brain is, I wanted to birth this. I wanted to birth this. I didn't want to turn my back on this, but it looks like she did. And she feels like in her mind, her heart, she feels like that was wise. But she wants judgment here. She wants divine judgment here. And she has put her energy maybe in a not so good place. So the divine feminine put her energy in something that escapes her. And it's left her very burdened. It's something she's still running after. So if you're a masculine watching this, wondering about your divine feminine, she still sees this. She still wants to give her energy to it. And it's something she's still running after. So we have a divine, so, all right, let's look at the energy between these two. Since we got trying to, okay, let me see here. I'm trying to see what cards. I feel like there's some cards that still want to be read here. Okay, that's the energy. Yep. Okay. So the energy between what I'm seeing is forgiveness and reflection. And rebirth. We have, oh wow. So we have past, present, future. We have forgiveness is what we need for the past. Reflection is what we need for the present. And rebirth is what we need for the future. And this is for both parties, for both divine masculine and divine feminine. So let's just get into the whole divine masculine, divine feminine thing. It doesn't mean that you have to be a twin flame. It doesn't. It means you could be a soulmate. It means you could be perfectly single. You're just in the collective. You are divine, meaning you are walking in your divine energy, whether that's masculine or feminine, and you're doing the things you need to do to get to that point. That's what we're talking about. Now, that being said, for the collective, we need forgiveness. We need reflection upon life experiences. We need rebirth, which is actually reweaving, reactivating, DNA upgrades. I did see Akashic records, going into our own DNA to find out who we are authentically. Authentic transparency of the self, coming out of the shadow, with the 7 being the rebirth, 9 being the reflection, with 4 plus 5 being 9 with the reflection. We're talking about going to another level, actually seeing the future instead of lingering in the past. That's what we're being called to do as the collective. Okay. Multidimensionality. So we're asked to, and I don't know why. Okay, I laid that right on reflection. So we're being asked to see our true essence. That's why I laid that there. We're being asked to come into awareness of our true essence, which is eternal and multidimensional. There's a transparency that needs to be seen within the collective, and it's the originality. We're going back to our original DNA, to our original frequencies, to the original energy, inner God that we were before all of the shit, before our third eye got distorted with distorted energy, before our crowns got blocked with negativity, before all of that stuff. We're being asked to truly reflect, to go inside of ourselves, to be honest about who we are. And what I'm hearing is that's what's going to call major ego deaths for the masculine. Because it's coming to grips with who they are, who they thought they were, and who they've become. What I'm hearing is life isn't what I thought it was going to be. And I became some of what I hate. in other people. So we may be dealing with a masculine who deals in anger, who may have some anger issues. They may have anger outbursts or just some kind of anger. And a lot of it is because, they hate themselves. They hate what they've become. They hate some of the things that they've done. And they spend a lot of their time in victimology thinking and rationalizing what they've done. So we're looking for forgiveness of self. That's why that came out too. Of forgiving yourself. Self-love is going to be really important because a lot is going to come out. And that's why, okay. So I saw in the last reading where Venus, I think, was trying to come into the root chakra to give love of self, to give self-forgiveness, even if you've done things that you really wish you hadn't done, even if you have ran away from responsibilities, you can always be the thing that you want to be. You can always rise. You can always be reborn. You can. And you can always go to completion. And a lot of us, and that's what I saw too, a lot of us are in the momentum of growing, in the momentum of getting there. But it's about getting there and not stopping along the way. Balance, I saw that twice already. So balance. We have balance coming out, and I'm laying it over rebirth. So it's going to take balance, and I also see union. Balance and union. Of the Akashic Records and the all. So this is union of all levels. Of the authentic union of self. So, and pineal gland activation. So what I did see in the last reading was we had all these layers come out. We had the ego come out. And then there was all these different subconscious layers started to come out. And so what we're talking about is integration. But here's the thing is that the masculine sees integration as absorption. And when they think about family, they need all right, so these masculines have fucked up some family shit. Like they have fucked up some have left baby moms, some have left the ones they thought they were supposed to be with, some have left kids, like some have done some stuff. And here's the thing is they have to forgive themselves for that. What I'm also seeing is communication. Some of you may be communicating telepathically with each other. But the thing is that, oh no, that's what that is. Oh, wow. So the masculine is actually communicating with himself. He's talking to himself. In his head, he's going back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. He's talking to himself about what he has done, what he may have to do. And I think I saw where they would have to start